Kruki Pictures. Michał Leja, Łukasz Sokół o fotografii.
A z nami kolejny rezydent, Visvaldas Morkevičius. Am I right?
Yes,
Did I
you
say
are.
it correctly?
Yes.
I jego projekt S.2. Hi, Vis.
Hey, everyone.
Good
Thank you
to
for
see you
having
again. We met in May on the time when you were actually working on the project here in Sopotu.
Yes.
It was your first time in Sopotu?
Yes, it was. I've been in a childhood maybe passing by a few times here, but just like transiting to visit my parents. But I explored the first time in May, and it's really nice to get back. Feeling more familiar now.
Right?
Tell us a little bit about your idea about your work. Did you came with this idea here to Sopotu, or you expected this city to sometimes affect you and you created your idea here or before?
In the beginning, I had kind of a idea which I was thinking to work on, and but was not sure like what will be the surrounding, what I could do with it, and so I had kind of some plan. But when I came here, in the beginning, I still thought that I'm going to do the first idea, but surroundings always affect, and I was thinking how to start that idea which I had before, and by that time I also wanted to explore Sopotu to see what's here, and actually surrounding was what affected me to turn to a new project, because we lived in the end of the Sopotu, near side of the Gdansk, to that side I think, and there is this hotel we stayed with all the residents, and it's a contrasty place compared with the old town of Sopotu, of a center.
How was it like?
It's more industrial, and I see that it's like maybe just few, or maybe that one street is like this, and everything.
This is the only street in Sopot like that.
Yeah.
This is what I had. It's Rzemieślnicza Street.
Yeah. So we stayed there in this hotel, and I really like this contrast, and I even named. I think in the beginning of the year that part of my works, or like how I work in general, is this contrasts. My experience being born on the 90s and having this affect of the Eastern cultures, and then introducing Western cultures, like from dictatorship to democracy, the change of the values, and always some contrast from one to another. And this was also an experience of contrast, which gives a possibility to see more from a different perspectives, not just from one side. So I really enjoy it, and I think it's a big opportunity to hear, for example, some person about one thing and another person talking about the same thing but from another point of view. So this was the effect which made me question why I look at some objects more. So when I started kind of to think like why I'm really interested in those simple details, for example, going out from that only street we stayed, we're in a beautiful center of a Sopotu, and I'm still looking for some details which talks to me, but I found them somewhere in the strangest places. So that was kind of the first hook for me to move to this project, like of this, like why I look at it, why not like I don't know, going where everyone goes and enjoying the beauty.
To the beach side, to
Yes.
the mall.
Okay, then, so tell us why.
So that was my question for myself, like why I do this, and why I'm really interested in this, and does it says me something? Like, and so as I'm interested in this in an analysis, like more like psychoanalysis or therapy, and Jung's shadow was kind of a moment when I understood, like, okay, so there is possibility that there is something hidden in myself that I don't know why I'm looking, but it's kind of talks with me in a sense. Like I kind of almost don't hear it, but a bit like someone is like a bit whispering or murmuring more. And
The Murmur is the official name for the project, isn't
yes,
it? Yeah.
yes. I chose for this project this name Murmurs. It has a few definitions, and I think it's a key how to read the project. So there is this one definition which says it's about like very low voice, like how to say, low volume voice, which says you something more privately. It can
Some
like,
sort of the white noise even, isn't it?
kind of, yeah. Like someone can like murmur you to the ear something that they love you, but like really like privately, or some sign, for example, like the waves murmurs us that the storm is coming.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of also a bit metaphorically might be seen, then it might be directly hear this like a very low voice said something. And the other thing which I really loved is this medical term of it. It's related with the heart. And I'll read, I think, to say more exact the medical way. But
The
it's
definition.
also, definition. So Google says that murmur is a sound due to vibrations from the flow of blood through the heart of the great vessels. A murmur may be innocent and be of no significance, or it may be pathological or reflected disease. A murmur is usually heard with a stethoscope.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in this case, that's what I really love, because I saw this parallel what I'm doing using photography media as a stethoscope, as a tool to hear and have ability to look closer to that sound, which we kind of, sometimes we hear this heartbeat,
Yeah.
but we don't hear like these vibrations of like the heart when it's open and like when the things change. So I use the photography of media visually to kind of grasp those vibrations and to kind of give more attention to those details, which is like felt like someone is talking. And even when we hang this exhibition here, it's a lot of like blackness. I shot everything at the night, and I thought like we was making some jokes, and I thought like I could just draw a little smile somewhere in the very dark spot, because it's kind of the thing which I talked with in those objects, the thing you can't see, but it's hidden. So yeah, this exploration kind of start of this impossible way to grasp anything, and moved to more serious analysis what it could be. So yeah, it's kind of, that's how it switched, coming with one idea and changed to a differently way I worked. And I really think that surroundings is a big importance of affection, how you react in the world.
So we say that in the beginning, when you felt these murmurs,
Yes.
when you felt it, it was actually a kind of unknown feeling. You felt it, but you didn't you couldn't decide what kind of feeling it is. Are you closer today? Can you describe it? What it is?
Yeah, I think it's like personal things. It's about shadow. It's about shadow, the one which is kind of. So I see this situation also in a way. I heard something, but I didn't know what it is. And by going through the practice and like this old method, how I work, today I can say that even I felt that day that everything is fine, but as it's unconscious, and this dedication to analyze things gives some keys which could let me understand myself more, what is in that shadow. And it was just like a sign in the beginning without clear words. And now I think I can kind of feel a bit or understand more. It's still not like clear the message. And I think it's always changing that message, which might be in that shadow. But I went through a small therapeutic trip doing it. And yeah, I mean, like, I don't want that much to elaborate on my personal life. But, I think it affects.
And what's so intriguing about shadows that you decided to dedicate some part of the project and some thinking process for shadow?
I think it's shadow itself. It's like very metaphorical thing, which kind of like an umbrella takes many things that hides, and the sun kind of hides there. There's not like enough. Someone is how to say, making that shadow for the sun. It's not kind of going into there, and I think that it depends on us how we stand. If we talk about human shadow, like a literal one, the size of it depends on us. So physically, if we move in one way, it changes the form. It can become huge or small. So if we look at also metaphorically in our inner life, in this more like subconscious shadow, so it also depends on our perspective and work on it. How big is the shadow? How soft or how sharp the edges are? And so for me, it's kind of also from metaphorical, but still a literal way of shadow fits very well in this ungrasping or impossible to grasp thing, which is kind of the one is always changing. It's kind of a sound, you hear it, but you never can touch it, or like you feel it, but you can't see.
It's not material.
Yeah, not material.
Is it the reason why you decided to work on the nighttime? Because you did work in the nighttime mostly, in the most part, because night is some sort of shadow.
Yes, and I experience physically the literal way being in the shadow of doing it at the night, in a sense, with a flash. When you get the light, you kind of blind. And you can't see, like, if you're really in focus. And I work with a manual lens, so you have to kind of really try to see if you're there where you want to be. And it was also this kind of feeling that you're really in a shadow. But the reason why I did it, it's more of constructing or maybe even deconstructing the surrounding and taking out the object from the space. But as I use a literal objects which appears in Sopotu, in the surroundings where I stay, so I can't just dig them out, and it's no reason for me to do that in a concept way. So this aesthetic helped me to kind of lower the noise to hear those murmurs. So that's kind of the choice to get that. And I think that aesthetic helps to concentrate more on the details.
Sorry. So you worked in the shadows, in the darkness.
Yes.
But there was also the other side of your work, as I remember, because when we met first time in May, you were all searching for the idea or for the locations. And I remember that Vitek, for example, he was riding his bike the whole Sopot, around the Sopot, and you were running. Every morning you took a run, So you were looking for the locations during the day, looking for something that will affect you, but you came back at night.
Yeah, you are right. This way I worked, it was kind of a research, and this also kind of the thinking moment which happens, and so was during the daytime.
There's a blood murmur as well during the running process, isn't it?
Yeah. It goes all this thing inside, and experience, which is collected. And for example, if we would think that all the experiences is in our like psyche and creates that shadow, so kind of I need to collect the experience during the running to see those symbols, to come back in that shadow at the night and kind of to transform it into some visual messages which I can work out later on, and by today could say that yes, it was really related with my life. And in the beginning it looked like, it's object in a Sopotu which I saw, but why I really got on that specific detail but not on some, I don't know, really effectively beautiful part of I don't know, seaside or something. So that was the question for myself, like why I just stop here. And
So a lot of intuition.
Yes,
in the process.
I think for me in this project was important to do this practice, experience, and to do it both at the same moment, like thinking how to read, through which kind of perspective. For example, I was reading a book which helped me to connect that. I took that book before because I just wanted to read, and so kind of it linked together. And in some other projects it works a bit differently, so it's changing by the time. In this way, the practice and experience was 50-50, like, or even more. The practice was
because
important.
I remember that at that time you're actually considering to use like a method from your previous project. So you were considering to use the pictures made in the Sopotu only as some kind of drafts, and then recreate these objects or situations in the studio space. Yeah,
you're right.
But finally, you give up this idea and used the pictures that you took here in Sopotu.
Yeah. So it's changed by the moment, and I was more, and I'm still thinking now that it's kind of important to feel out how it's best at that time, not to stick all the time to the first idea. Of course, for everyone is different, but for me it works like if I feel it, that it's something which touched me, then I go for it, because I can have an idea, then deliver it and say like, it fits with idea, but if the visuals affect me or no, then it's the choice when I choose to change it or no. So in this case, I felt like I even don't know if I will recreate in a way of the aesthetic I wanted. And this felt way more fitting to the idea of the shadow, and then sticks and like glues all the festival that I'm residenting, like being in a residency here. And I thought like it's way more stronger than I would just try to recreate and say like that. This is, maybe I could do some things, but not all of them. Like maybe some few pictures to recreate in Vilnius, but I chose not to do it.
So we are surrounded by your impressive works. The fixing process is still in progress, as I can see, but there are some pictures laying down on the floor. Are those pictures available to collect for the audience, or?
Yes.
This is some sort of poster, isn't it?
Yes, it was the main idea of that people could, because I do the projects not just to myself, because I could just not show them, and I try also maybe find a way to speak more wider than like sharing like just personal experience, in a sense that I kind of invite people to analyze or like process themselves these things, and to find a way maybe they could experience something new in their own experience life. So poster was also the idea of it, that you can take that small gift and experience or this symbol of breaking out going out through those
yeah,
through
because
that
the
fence.
picture it depicts something symbolic. Yeah, the
Yeah.
net broken down. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm inviting to get out of that loop
Yeah.
and explore out of it. So yeah, that's the idea why it's a pile of the papers printed, because then it would make no sense to have a pile and not to share it. And then I would just put one picture.
And it's very similar in form to your pictures hanging on the wall, because there are no frames, no glass barrier between visitor and the picture itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I somehow was thinking about the space and how to make it, and I felt more like also those simple objects, which still talks like those murmurs. Not to make it very effectively. There is some things that it's with some distance a bit maybe from the wall, or at some moment if you look really clearly at the tire, the picture with the tire, you can see the bluish coming out from the corner, but you need to really stand in some angle or look at really close into the angle. So it's about this expressing the feeling blue. Mm-hmm. But the one you don't get that you feeling blue, you just feel everything is okay.
Yeah, you talk to yourself that everything is okay, but
yes.
you feel strange.
Yeah, but if you really look close and give an effort, then you understand like, oh, I'm in a pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very small details, very kind of classical way of exhibiting, but I think it fits with these very daily objects and surroundings I explored. So it's kind of don't scream that much. And
people
have
don't
to give
really see those details, or especially when they are hidden in darkness.
yeah.
It demands some intrapersonal intelligence to look into yourself and to your shadow that you project on the environment around you. So I think, it's a very interesting perspective to be in, looking at these pictures.
So thank you for taking us to your shadows.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me to share my experience here. I'm very glad to do it.
Yeah, it was great talking to you. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the day and the opening of the exhibition and the festival.
This afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To były 3 kruki Pictures.